Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about how Spider-Gwen is her own solo hero and not a team player. So I love Spider-Gwen. I first got introduced to her when I was watching a YouTube video. I think it was Top 10 Nerd, and they was talking about alternate versions of Gwen Stacy. And so they had Spider-Gwen on there. I'm like, who the heck is that? I've never heard of Spider-Gwen. I instantly fell in love with her costume. I thought it was so cool that Gwen Stacy became Spider-Woman. Later, Ghost Spider and stuff. Because, when it comes to Gwen Stacy in the original comic books, I stopped reading Spider-Man comic books when I was little. And when I watched Spider-Man the animated series, she only appeared in the alternate version in the last episode. So I never knew who she was until many years later and finding out she was Peter's first true love. Created by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, we all know her demise. She dated Peter. Green Goblin found out his identity. He hung her over a bridge, and then Spider-Man went to go save her with his web line, and she dies. Did she die from the fall? Did she die from the momentum of the gravity and stuff like that? Did she fall from the snap of the web line? For the longest time, nobody never knew, and it was the biggest mystery. And she just stayed dead for the longest time until comics decided to revive her and everything. They decided to do create clones of her. I think she had twins and stuff. There's one comic image of her holding a gun to Spider-Man's head. I don't know if that's the Ultimate one or the Prime one. And then they decided to just tear her character apart by saying before she died, she had an affair with Norman Osborn when she was dating Peter. Why in the world would they do that? Anyways, so for the most part, she's just been going through all kind of different stuff. And then in the Ultimate comic books, the symbiote and stuff like that. And, she's been going through a lot of stuff since they revived her and stuff like that. But then they decided to do the whole multiverse thing. And one of those was Spider-Gwen. So Spider-Gwen comes from Earth 65. She was created by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. And so they decided, hey, let's just give her spider powers. On this Earth, instead of Peter getting bit by a spider, it was her. And Peter was the lizard, and he died. And next thing you know, she became the vigilante known as Spider-Woman, which pissed off her father because he don't like vigilantes and all this and that. And so her costume, which is just one of the coolest costumes ever. And one of the first images I ever saw her was her without her mask, with her hoodie on and her hair flowing through her hoodie. And it was just a striking pose. Her outfit's white, pink, and black. And with these little light blue highlights on her boots and stuff. And it's just a very unique costume and very, very cool looking. Scarlet Spider has a hoodie, but he rarely ever wears it. And it just works so much on her than other, Spider-Man they try to do with a hoodie. And so I never saw her on screen for the most part. And then the first time I saw her, I believe it was the animated movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, she's appeared before that, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And so I never knew much about her or her personality or what exactly she does in her universe and stuff like that. But even before this movie came out, like I said before, she has appeared in other animation. Never live action. But the problem is Marvel Animation, for whatever reason, keeps putting her on a team and never let her do her own solo thing. She's never had her own solo animated series. She's supposed to be getting her own animated movie based on the Into the Spider-Verse, But other than that, like, you know, and hopefully she'll do her own solo thing and not a team thing. Because the weird thing is that she is a solo person. She's not a team member. Like she probably has like helped out with teams and stuff like that. But just like with Spider-Man, she's solo. She does her own thing. And just like with all these movies now, they keep putting Spider-Man in teams. And it's very frustrating. Like, she is her own character. She is very strong, very smart, very capable of taking down a villain all by herself. So I don't know why they won't give her the solo treatment. It's like they don't believe in her. It's like they don't believe she could carry her own thing without being part of a team. And also because they don't trust the other team members to headline their own series in animation. So they put them all in a team so everybody can just look at them and have fun with them and stuff. And that's great. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's cool when they are on a team and do the superhero team up, but it'll be nice to see them in a solo venture. And so Into the Spider-Verse, you know, she went through the portal for the collider thing, and she met a bunch of like spider people, but she was on that earth way before she revealed her identity and interacted with Miles at school. Yet we never see her glitching out when she's at school with Miles. And at first they didn't like each other because of the whole hair thing, but then eventually they became friends and stuff. And of course she's into Across the Spider-Verse, which I still haven't seen, but I'm about to see sometime towards the end of this month. I'm just gonna buy it on DVD. I'm not even gonna bother tracking it down on digital and stuff like that on these streaming sites. And so in this version of Spider-Gwen, she goes by Spider-Woman. And she has a very unique hairstyle because Miles ripped half her hair off, but she decided to keep it because she likes it like that. She's also in her band, the Mary Janes, which, you know, is right from the comics and everything. But this one is also a ballerina. Now, her personality is very different. It's almost emo-ish in a bleak kind of way. Because in the comics, I believe she's more like, you know, upbeat and stuff like that. And she doesn't seem to have all that like intelligence and smarts like, you know, the other Spider-Woman from her comic and stuff. She's capable of holding her own and she's a skilled fighter, but other than that, they've changed her personality in like this movie. However, before Into the Spider-Verse, she's actually appeared in Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon, years before that. In Return of the Spider-Verse, which we see Peter and Miles travel the multiverse and they meet her. They go back to Miles's reality, which is weird because, okay, this don't make no sense. The show is called Ultimate Spider-Man, so you would assume Miles would be part of Peter's reality, but he's not. And so they have this version of Miles in a completely different Earth, even though he's supposed to be part of the Ultimate Spider-Verse, Spider Planet, and Ultimate Planet and whatever. And so Gwen is now living in Miles's universe. They keep retconning her whenever they keep retconning her to fit whatever storyline they got going in whatever animated series or movie there is. And it kind of sucks. Like, the closest to her real origin we'll ever get is like probably Into the Spider-Verse, where she's on her own planet, as opposed to living in Miles's universe in, like, you know, this show. And so after Miles left to go to Peter's reality, she decided to take up the mantle of a spider hero and everything, calling herself Spider-Woman. And just like in the comics, her and her dad, you know, her dad's always trying to chase her down because he's a cop and she's a vigilante. He doesn't know her identity and stuff like that. Now, in this version, she has her long blonde hair. And the animation style is really good. Every animation always alters her costume just slightly, just a teeny tiny bit. But, you know, this one's pretty cool and stuff. Despite being voiced by the same actress from the Marvel Rising, this Spider-Gwen is completely different from all the other ones. Her personality is extremely laid back and she seems very young. And she makes very little quips and she's not really all that smart. But she's a little smart, a little tech savvy. However, what sets her apart is that she has no spider powers. she has web shooters, she has a like technological spider sense from like equipment that she uses, and she has magnetic couplers to like stick the walls and everything. This is a very radical departure from all the other, like, Spider Gwens that we know. And Aunt May like helps her do all her stuff and kind of like this spider cave type thing. So she's basically the Alfred to that of like her Batman and stuff. And then so the next time I see her is actually Marvel Rising. And this was probably the second time I've ever seen her, or maybe the third, I can't really remember which one, but this is my all-time favorite one. This one lives in the reality of all these Marvel heroes. So once again, she's not from her own world. And once again, her dad's always in pursuit of her. She goes by the name Ghost Spider in this for some reason. And so in this one, they had to alter her origin. It's no longer Peter being the lizard and, dying and stuff, because in this reality, it's assumed that this Peter Parker is Spider-Man, because this is the problem with Marvel animation. They keep getting the same voice actor and the same character designs for all their projects, even though their series are set in different realities and stuff. So you don't really know if it's the same reality or a different reality or whatever. But it's assumed that Peter is alive in this one. So she had another friend that died. And so this one appearance is slightly different. She has pink highlights in her hair because they're trying to do the whole Gwen Pool thing where she has highlights in her hair. And so this one is still in the band with the Mary Janes, and she later joins this group of like heroes comprised of like Squirrel Girl, Patriot, Quake, and somebody else, Miss Marvel and stuff. And it's a really cool cartoon series. This one, she's more like Peter Parker Spider-Man. She's upbeat, she makes quips. Like, she's basically a clone version of him, similar to that of like her comic series and stuff. And this one is like one of my all-time favorite versions, because she started off first solo, and then she later joined a team and stuff. Then we get to the most drastic one of them all that's completely different from that of the source material. And this is one I was unfamiliar with, and I decided to watch the episode just last month. So Marvel Spider-Man, which is in the cartoon series, personally I don't prefer. I just don't like it that much, simply because I hate the animation style. I'm okay with them changing stuff here and there, but I'm getting tired of all these spider teams. Like, it's taking the fun away from when they do this solo thing, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's a bunch of spider people and stuff. So in this version, we got Miles living in the same reality as Peter. And not only that, but Gwen and all these other spider people. Who was it? That dude who clones a bunch of people. I forget his name. Jackal or something like that. He did something that caused a lot of people to get spider powers. So it's that Spider Island arc and everything. And so random people in the street start developing spider powers. And Gwen is one of them. She has no idea Peter and Miles are Spider-Man. But this version decides that she's going to be a hero, create her own costume, but not wear a mask. So it's very similar to that of the comics when you see her without her mask and, she's posing and stuff. I've always wanted to see a version like that where she's just like, without her mask and stuff like that, because it's really cool. But I want to see her like that when she's around her friends that know her identity. Not random people in the street. So everybody now knows her identity and calls her Spider-Gwen. I believe at some point she does don a mask and everything, but it's just like everybody knows her stinking identity now. Now this version is a little different. She's more serious, and she's very, very smart and intelligent. She's a little humorous here and there, and so she has a nice little upbeat personality, but it's very small. It's mostly she's just like very serious, and she's really, really highly intelligent. So I do like how they take different aspects from the origin from the comic and put them in these animated series and stuff, because like all the other ones were never smart and this is the only smart one. I don't like her hair in this. She wears it up in some weird ponytail bun thing, and it just doesn't look flattering when she has her hood up. But you know, other than that, this version is pretty like okay. But once again, she fights alongside a team. And I'm just kind of like, why? Why do they always put her on a team? It's so frustrating and stuff. And it's really because they just don't believe in her. It's because they want to show off other superheroes and all, like, you know, because it's fun when you have a superhero team. Like I said before, don't get me wrong and everything, but she is her own hero. Like, she doesn't take orders from like other team members and other team leaders and stuff. It would just be nice if they finally would just give her her own solo thing where there's no other spider people. It's a straight up adaptation of the comic, and let people experience that instead of all these different alternate versions. Because for people like myself who had no idea who she is, when I first saw her on screen and, you know, her personality and how she got there and all this other crap, I assumed that was her origin. But no, none of these have like a true proper like origin and everything. They're all just like, you know, reconstructed to fit the narrative of whatever like property she is in. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.